The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Chapter 12. The Search for the Wicked Witch. Part 1. The soldier with the green whiskers walked with them through the streets of the Emerald City. Soon they came to the room where the guardian of the gates lived. He took their green glasses off and put them in his big box. Then he politely opened the gate for them. "Which road goes to the Wicked Witch of the West?" asked Dorothy. "There is no road," said the guardian of the gates. "No one wants to go there." "Then how can we find her?" asked the girl. "That will be easy," the man said. "When she hears you are in the Winkies' land, she will come to find you and make you her slaves." "Maybe not," said the Scarecrow, "because we plan to destroy her." "Oh, that's different," said the guardian of the gates. "No one has ever destroyed her before, so I thought she would make you her slaves like the others. But be careful, she is very bad and cruel, and she might not let you hurt her. Go toward the west where the sun goes down, and you will find her."
Go toward the west.
They thanked him, said goodbye, and started walking toward the west. Dorothy still wore the pretty silk dress she had put on in the palace, but to her surprise, it was no longer green. It was now pure white. The ribbon on Toto's neck had also lost its green color and was as white as Dorothy's dress. Soon the Emerald City was far behind them. As they went on, the ground became rough and full of hills. There were no farms or houses in the western land, so the soil was not used for growing crops. In the afternoon, the sun shone hot on their faces, because there were no trees to give them shade. Before night came, Dorothy, Toto, and the lion grew tired. They lay down on the grass and fell asleep, while the woodman and the Scarecrow stayed awake to watch over them. The Wicked Witch of the West had only one eye, but it was very strong, like a telescope, and could see everything. As she sat at the door of her castle, she looked around and saw Dorothy sleeping, with her friends close by. They were very far away, but the Wicked Witch became angry when she saw them in her land. She blew on a silver whistle that hung from her neck. Right away, a pack of big wolves came running from all directions. They had long legs, fierce eyes, and sharp teeth. "Go and attack those people," said the witch. "Tear them to pieces." "Aren't you going to make them your slaves?" asked the leader of the wolves. "No," she said. "One is made of tin, one of straw, one is a girl, and another is a lion. None of them can work, so you can tear them into small pieces." "All right," said the wolf, and he ran off quickly with the other wolves behind him. Luckily, the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman were wide awake and heard the wolves coming. "This is my fight," said the woodman. "Stand behind me, and I'll face them as they come." He grabbed his axe, which he had made very sharp. When the leader of the wolves came near, the Tin Woodman swung his arm and cut off the wolf's head, killing it at once. Then another wolf ran toward him, and he struck again, killing that one too. There were 40 wolves in all, and the Tin Woodman killed every one of them, until they lay in a big pile on the ground. After the fight, he put down his axe and sat beside the Scarecrow. "That was a good fight, my friend," said the Scarecrow. They waited until Dorothy woke up the next morning. The little girl was very scared when she saw the big pile of hairy wolves. But the Tin Woodman told her what had happened. She thanked him for saving them and sat down to eat breakfast. After that, they began their journey again. That same morning, the Wicked Witch came to the door of her castle and looked out with her one eye that could see very far. She saw all her wolves lying dead and the travelers still walking through her land. This made her even angrier, and she blew her silver whistle 2 times. Right away, a big flock of wild crows came flying toward her, so many that they made the sky dark. The Wicked Witch said to the King Crow, "Fly at once to those people. Peck out their eyes and tear them to pieces." The wild crows flew together in one great group toward Dorothy and her friends. When the little girl saw them coming, she felt afraid. But the Scarecrow said, "This is my fight. Lie down beside me, and you won't get hurt." So everyone lay on the ground except the Scarecrow. He stood up and stretched out his arms. When the crows saw him, they were scared, just as crows always fear scarecrows, and they didn't dare to come closer. But the King Crow said, "It's only a stuffed man. I'll peck out his eyes." The King Crow flew at the Scarecrow, but he caught it by the head and twisted its neck until it died. Then another crow came, and the Scarecrow twisted its neck too. There were 40 crows, and 40 times the Scarecrow turned a neck. At last, all the crows lay dead beside him. Then he called to his friends to get up, and they began their journey again. When the Wicked Witch looked out again and saw all her crows lying in a pile, she became very angry. She blew her silver whistle 3 times. At once, a loud buzzing sound filled the air, and many black bees came flying toward her. "Go to those people and sting them to death," said the witch. The bees flew quickly toward Dorothy and her friends, but the Tin Woodman saw them coming, and the Scarecrow had a plan. "Take out my straw and spread it over the little girl, the dog, and the lion," he said to the woodman. "Then the bees won't be able to sting them." The woodman did as he was told. Dorothy lay close to the lion and held Toto in her arms, and soon the straw covered them completely. The bees came and saw only the Tin Woodman to sting. They flew at him, but their stings broke against his tin body, and he was not hurt at all. Because bees die when their stings break, that was the end of the black bees. They lay all around the woodman, looking like small piles of black coal. Then Dorothy and the lion stood up, and the girl helped the Tin Woodman put the straw back into the Scarecrow until he was just like before. After that, they started their journey again. When the Wicked Witch saw her black bees lying in little heaps like fine coal, she became very angry. She stamped her foot, pulled her hair, and ground her teeth. Then she called 12 of her slaves, the Winkies, and gave them sharp spears. She told them to go after the strangers and destroy them. The Winkies were not very brave, but they had to obey the Wicked Witch. They marched until they came close to Dorothy. Then the lion gave a loud roar and jumped toward them. The poor Winkies were so scared that they ran back as fast as they could. When they reached the castle, the Wicked Witch whipped them with a strap and sent them back to work. After that, she sat down and began to think about what to do next. In her cupboard, the Wicked Witch had a golden cap with a circle of diamonds and rubies around it. This golden cap had magic power. Whoever owned it could call the winged monkeys 3 times, and they would do whatever they were told. But no one could use the cap more than 3 times. The Wicked Witch had already used its magic twice, once to make the Winkies her slaves and to become ruler of their land. The winged monkeys had helped her do that. The second time she used the cap was when she fought the great Oz himself and drove him out of the land of the West. The winged monkeys had helped her then, too. She could use the golden cap only one more time, so she did not want to use it until she had tried all her other powers. But now her fierce wolves, wild crows, and stinging bees were gone, and her slaves had run away in fear of the cowardly lion. So she knew there was only one thing left to do to destroy Dorothy and her friends. So the Wicked Witch took the golden cap from her cupboard and put it on her head. Then she stood on her left foot and said slowly, "Ep-P, Pep-P, Cac-K." Next, she stood on her right foot and said, "Hill-Lo, Hole-Lo, Hell-Lo." Finally, she stood on both feet and shouted loudly, "Z-Z, Zoo-Z, Zeek." Then the magic started to work. The sky grew dark, and a deep rumbling sound filled the air. There was a noise of many wings flapping, along with loud chattering and laughing. Soon the sun came out again, and it showed the Wicked Witch surrounded by many monkeys, each with big, strong wings on his shoulders. One of the monkeys was much bigger than the others, and seemed to be their leader. He flew close to the witch and said, "You have called us for the 3rd and last time. What do you want us to do?" "Go to the strangers in my land and destroy them all except the lion," said the Wicked Witch. "Bring the lion to me. I will put a harness on him and make him work like a horse. Your orders will be obeyed," said the leader. Then, with much chattering and noise, the winged monkeys flew away to where Dorothy and her friends were walking.